All right, welcome to the program again. My name is Abman Kota, and you are watching the Tpn TV and Radio Network. Today we get a very big guest. We Nain, the National Director for HIV/AIDS, Dr. Mamadou Cissé. It come momentarily. It pan drive for go na host now for go prepare for me or for we all for make we can ask about this. HIV/AIDS rates where people then they talk about Sierra Leone, and if you not remember, was this last week we talked about this very in details for America. We know within now the next step way we country they take for make sure say the HIV/AIDS na Sierra Leone then go able at least try for control them, if not stop them, but if the rates will be hearing are true, then it means there is going to be a big problem for the country, especially a country like Sierra Leone, where the the poverty rate is too much, So this now one of the things then we get for talk about today, and as we all know, this it cut across party line, like what we talked no more last week. So now the reason this way I try my level best for bring Dr. Mamadou Cissé, who is the National Program Director for HIV/AIDS. So it come momentarily in the program, but for the meantime, let we talk about politics. Let we talk about other things as we discuss, we wait for we guests for come now the program. Let we talk about politics. Let we talk about so many things them where they go on social media in particular. Because this guy I need for call him that one offers. Let me see if I go able bring come in now the program. I think just give me 1 minute. Some people there for 209 8293. All right, let me call this guy and bring come to the program. As we all know, the TPN always they bring people their way. We believe say they go able to give away some kind of an understanding of what they go on at the country. For example, when we talk about AIDS, the HIV/AIDS, and we come with the idea say, we need to talk about that, and we'll bring the person who responsible for that for can talk to we about that. And in the next 20 minutes or so, we'll get the camp Dr. Mamadou Cissé, the program director for HIV/AIDS in Sierra Leone. But as I say, in the meantime, let we talk about politics in Sierra Leone. Politics, yeah. Politics will not ever avoid that, especially in this modern social media age, wherein every single day we talk about politics. Every single day we talk about politics. This is very, very important, and it's good for the health, the health of democracy. When young people or the citizenry engage in political discussion, it make the politicians and they become edgy, because they don't say people are aware of what they go on. And social media don't give it that opportunity, that platform, and the cheap technology also don't give it them kind of platform that they for make we able to discuss within the gun of the country, irrespective of whose part of the country the world is. Just since yesterday, day before yesterday, there was so many arguments, debates in terms of the human rights abuses where the SLPP, the APC are actually now accusing the SLPP of human rights abuses 3 months to Madabio, President Bio in government. Already accusations don't come. Well, it can be say people like me so come in for make I able for give me an opinion about what thing they go on. And who said the debate starts is I say when it comes to human rights abuses, I'm talking about egregious human rights abuses. That was the keyword where may come into debates in social media about human rights abuses. I say when you look at the comparison between the SLPP government, the APC government, and the Madabio SLPP government, the Tijankaba government, I think so far President Kuruma stands out. And I believe in that. You know, I mean, a pragmatic somebody. I believe in that. I'm not saying President Kuruma no commit any kind of human rights abuses. In fact, he commits. But I'm looking at the level, the comparison, you know, in which during the SLPP government, when Tijankaba came back in power from Guinea, after they overthrown them, we been see people then the revenge killing will go on. So much that people then they take them, then put them in a tire, and then put tire upon them, and then burn them alive. And the thing some of my opponents them on this debate where they don't understand, they want to redefine the word human rights abuse. And that is the issue here, where as ICC, we have to look at the UN Charter in human rights abuses, within UN organization for human rights define within the determinants them where they puts in that charter there where they define human rights abuse. Yes, I understand. Say whenever there is war, there is always going to be human rights abuses, one form or the other. That's clear. Okay, and I know actually lay blame on anybody, but the warring factions them like the RUF, mostly the RUF, because they can invade the country and then commit so much human rights abuses during that time. That was not the argument where I've been trying for puts on this debate. I was looking at human rights abuses that was perpetrated specifically by the government, the Anes by Kuruma government, the Tijankaba government, and now the how you call them Madabio government. And I look at Madabio. I want to forget a leeway a little bit because it just came in 3.5 months ago. So even though yes, right now you don't even, if we look at the percentage, you don't even, if you not stop, it surpass all them two previous governments here. If they not stop the kind of human rights abuses where they go on, but I believe say they go work on that, and with the urgent for make you work on how they go able to stop the unnecessary intimidation, violations, and you know, injuries where they happen in the country. But let me start with the media, the freedom of expression, because that's now one of the definitions of human rights abuses. Killing, arbitrary killing, according to the UN Charter, arbitrary killing, human rights, freedom of speech, and a lot host of other things then, where the UN Charter describe as considered as human rights abuses. Yes, then get the level of you know, tenacity, but these are all the components where the UN Charter puts about human rights abuses. The freedom of speech. Let me start with President Kaba in regime. I want to tell me what my viewers and my listeners, where they listen to me right now. Let me make sure this thing is off. The one way they listen to me about the radio and the TV, I want to make una really pay attention on what they talk, because now one of the things there were some people that misunderstand me. When it comes to leadership, since multi-party democracy in Sierra Leone, Tijankaba in government was one of the best. He tried a level best. Tijankaba tried his level best, and I appreciate that. Now that make when it comes, we see the gap where happen. We see the kind of difficulties where Tijankaba been get during the war. You know, it's very difficult for rule a country during the war. Some of we were pragmatic, we know about that. So we give another credit there for say he tried in level best. But having said that, there was a lot of human rights abuses where took place during EU regime, not necessarily directly ordered by him or directed by him, but within the inner circle of in government, there are people who actually go for revenge killings and you know, sponsoring militias for make them go after some people. Them, you know, the one way they not support them, all them things and they took place during Tijankaba regime. You know the reason why to make I give credit to Tijankaba and elect Tijankaba, irrespective of now SLPP, Me not to SLPP. They all know that. But I respect Tijan Kaba simply because here is the thing. Tijan Kaba get the mind. He order, he agree, and he acknowledged, accepted the prosecution of EU government officials who commit human rights abuses. That's a wonderful thing. That already don't show say yes, indeed, there were human rights abuses will take place during Tijan Kaba EU region. Because otherwise, there is no need for go arrest a government official and bring him to justice for human rights abuses. So these are the sanctioned human rights abuses we had to talk about on social media. But a lot of people, they don't understand. They just say, oh, now the SLPP, so therefore, you know, for say the SLPP because in a war, okay, anything can happen. Yeah, we know that anything can happen during war. We know about this. This not only what they talk about. Not so the time when Gabriel and Amiman then they fought the civilians then caught na the middle. Not to that one they talk about. Those are human rights abuses directly because of the war. But there were human rights abuses because of politically motivated killings, politically motivated intimidation, politically motivated revenge killing. When they go on. And Tijan Kaba acknowledge that. Now the reason that one day where he allowed for the UN arrest Hinganoma and Nasalo self them prosecutor. Okay? So the SNPP folks where they go around and they go and with and cause Roman culture you disingenuous because do nothing and then na rebel war, na the war, na this, na that. But at the same time then come the one for come blame Ernest by Koroma. Ernest by Koroma nobody know they dispute the fact that Ernest Koroma commits human rights abuses some form or the other. Like I said, I don't give you some example of according to the UN Charter about human rights definition, and it's very, very difficult. Somebody for rule for nearly 11 years, 10.5 years almost, where you go say you know commit no human rights abuses. That is just ridiculous. Anybody where they go with them claims and there are so many things. Sometimes it don't necessarily mean say now Ernest by Koroma commit them on the day or other them crime the day to be committed by young people them. Some of the crimes them now people their way then just believe say nobody enough for criticize the APC government, just like the SLPP. Nobody enough for say anything bad, ill things about the APC government. And then they go on their own way for go cause problem with people then. For example, the arbitrary arrest of some journalists then. But when you look at the level, in fact, I want to make a back. Even Ernest Koroma, he commits some kind of abuses in SSF directly. If we look at the definition of human rights abuses, for example, the sacking of the vice president, that's actually now an abuse. Oh, okay. Guys, so hold on. Let me try for bring in. Hold on, let me try for bringing. We guys just done call. So let Abraham come in and see how. Now hold on. I just try for Abraham come in. Up. Is it wrong? All right. Let me try this. 232. Just give me 1 minute, like I able get hold of them. Seven, 6, 8. All right. Well, hold on. Let me bring in Dr. Mamadou Cissé. We're the director of the National Director of HIV/AIDS. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, doctor. I did do some.
Fine.
I did this Namankota. Thank you very much for Canada program. But let me just try for introduce you, and maybe you are the best person way to introduce yourself. I already done talk a little bit about you. So now you for can be we guess then at the program for me we can talk about the HIV/AIDS rate where don't explode on social media. Say some people they say 1.5, some people they say 60,000. There are so many confusion they go within social media. Now the reason that one the way I say they bring you kind of the radio because the TV because you actually responsible for the country HIV/AIDS as a program director. So thank you very much for kind of the program. For the benefits of the people then where they watch we na the TV and the one where they listen na the radio, you go able to introduce yourself and what you function na Sierra Leone.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm Dr. Momodu Sike. I'm the Director General of the National Secretary Secretariat. And basically, function for carry out, the policies of the National Secretariat Commission. We actually get towards prevention, treatment, care and support for the national security response. And we also work for mobilizing resources for the national response. Now in the coordinate the national security response, the National Secretariat National Implementing Body, the National AIDS Control Program, under the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, we get a program manager and then deal at the implementation level. So we will provide a coordination role for the national response because it is the most effective response. So the National Secretariat is nationally responsible for coordinating that whole sector, the national response. So basically, I don't job in really do.
Thank you very much for that, sir. Let me ask you the first question. What is the rate of HIV/AIDS in Sierra Leone as of today?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. And I think also that I'm very clear, because that's what you say. You get a whole lot of misconception, misunderstanding of figures and everything. As of today, the HIV prevalence in Sierra Leone are 1.5%.
1.5%.
1.5%.
Oh.
Not to us how people they say 1,500,000. Now let's just explain this. Now normally when it happens for first student prevalence studies, we get something we call statistical studies and we every country they do. And in Sierra Leone, the population based studies and we do have to do with the prevalence of the demographic assessment. Now in 2006, we do the demographic survey and we come out HIV was part of that survey. We get other questions, we look at malaria, we look at nutrition, a lot of other things when they go into that demographic survey. 2006, we do the study, the prevalence of HIV was 1.5%. Now, every 5 years, countries in the good study. So the next study we they do was 2014. 2014, HIV also had been part of that study. Again, the prevalence was 1.5%. Now, it means it is every 5 years, the next study we will do that is 2015. And as I talk to you so now, Statistics Sierra Leone, together with the partners, international partners, and the India now for do this next demographic and health study, where we are able to know between the prevalence of HIV and other parameters of HIV in the country. So what I can figure there we give them based on evidence. Apart from this demographic and health study, no other study, prevalence study, will not do it in Sierra Leone for change the prevalence of HIV from this 1.5 to something else. Until we carry out the study again, this study, population-based study, as I say, it's a big study where we get over thousands of people all the way for tests and everything for able to terminate the prevalence. But as of today, coming back to your question, the prevalence of HIV in Sierra Leone, the national prevalence is 1.5%.
So this 1.5% now based on the last study, right? Not to now, right?
Yes. Until we do the next study, then we're able to know which is the prevalence. As I say, prevalence study, the next two just to do so long inside 1 day, 2 day, no. It's an expensive study. It costs over millions of dollars. And then every 5 years, I think countries they do demographics and health survey, and during that survey, as I say, different things and what they put for that survey. Malaria, they put under nutrition, they put under things for even anemia. So HIV also to be part of that. And all that, even things like awareness, not prevalence, awareness level for HIV, all that one they do, then they go into the population this study. So after that now, in 2018, when they do the study, then we come back, will come back for the new prevalence or whatever parameters, and we will forget when a new one then we'll be able to go for tell the public about that.
Dr. Sise, is there any program at Sierra Leone when somebody go in a hospital for good test, where we now also they make sure say when they go test somebody in blood, we now go able to do separately for test that person whether he gets any HIV/AIDS, something like that?
Yes, well, definitely, because we have facilities there. Also, HIV testing will go on in this country. And as I tell you, we have close to 700, I have almost close to 701 facilities. As I say, this component will be asking to the health sector responsible and tell you responsible for that. But as I say, because we provide oversight and coordination, so I can also provide some of that information. We get testing sites, we have facilities all over the country, close to 700, 780, and over than 700. People in the go, then go and take the blood, they test them. Apart from that, even the one the way they go to blood transfusion, they also check, for HIV, but the blood and before they test them. So yes, you get facilities and maternity all over the country. Over 700 where they test people in for HIV.
Okay, so the testing is one side. One of the biggest problems we will get in Africa when it comes to HIV is the stigmatization. Waiting at the responsibility for make sure sensitization they go on for the one that will get the AIDS, then make sure they feel they are not outcasts and now AIDS is not so dangerous like the way it been be before. At least you able to control and waiting at the programs they will put together for make sure that sensitization go ahead in the country.
Yes, thank you very much. Just, as they say, stigma and discrimination are one of the big sickness that when they in fact they even suffer than the HIV who they talk about. You see, right from the time where HIV epidemic starts all over the world, stigma don't be a big and very difficult fight all over. And hence, I don't know an exception, today. Now, stigma is just from different levels. You get self-stigma. You get people with stigmatized people. So on and that is the way they say. So in the first place, if somebody that is themselves, you don't stigmatize yourself, then that's the kind of thing that one big problem than the or even for the person there for the access sickness and all that things. Okay, but then that's just the one side. But then you also get to one where that stigma from other people, either from the community or it can be from something like health facility. We get communities and we get stigma and discrimination among the communities of the people. So now what thing do we do? Now you can let me say with the picture. One, we get even the people there where this is HIV, they already don't become protected. Now we get a network of people living with HIV, and then network they live in support groups. So to start with their support groups engage, now there they work with the national HIV. One, for encourage people in the civilians, the young people and people don't become infected for let them access treatment. Secondly, for let them stop the child stigma, because that's a very important thing that one day where they also increase, the access, to treatment. So just that component here, where you get the network of people and the support groups, and the rest support groups now all the districts. So that support groups they work with the membership for fight against stigma, among themselves. Now at the program level, we also get radio programs where we talk to people there and then explain the dangers, of stigma, which is a mean, because when you stigmatize, you discriminate. You found out the person, one, even you want the person for campus, they will come. You want the way all the don't test positive for camp for access to treatment, they will receive, for camp. So we get them radio programs. And then we also get implementing partners when they have communities where they work on a language unity. It is so like different levels, not just the secretariat, but the national youth control program, we get the radio program there. Not as the secretariat, we also get the radio program here. So, and then we get the network of people, we also get the stigmatizing and discrimination programs here when they so now the different levels in the border that say stigma and discrimination now one of the toughest battles where we reflect against HIV from the inception, from the term, where we get this epidemic all over the world. And we will continue for better.
And I know say Sierra Leone a poor country, and now that makes some of we been worried so much where they tell you about 1.5 million, which is about almost 22% of the population. I was so worried, last week I've been even kind of the program and talk about that. But we know say there are also people where no say not only they know say they get this disease here, and then they go around and sleep with other people, they infect them. So is there any way where dancing and they go be prevented either by legislation or in some ways for make sure say if you know say you get the HIV/AIDS and knowingly go infect other person, then you should be held responsible.
Right. Thank you very much. That's a very good question. Yes, indeed, legislation do. You see, one thing we talk about, willful or intentional infection. You know, you are infected, and then you speak to people without any protection. So willfully, you want to infect other people.
Yeah.
Now we get the HIV Commission Act of 2011. It is clearly stated that if you not say the HIV is infected, and then you get the partner, you not tell them, willfully, you get some protective testing, you infect them, it's a criminal offense, it's a crime. It's clearly stated. That's what they do. But I think one of the problems we get is, how, somebody actually the people that don't come out for free, this person don't accept me willfully, you just to prove, even when that case come up, you just to prove say yes, willfully, this person has been infected and then the guy can accept me. But of course, that's not just, the law that we will come, to court case and all that. But as I said, coming back to your question, I just want to tell you that yes, we get laws then, and it's clearly stated in the law that willful infection, you not say infected, and then you go transmit the infection to somebody. If you don't tell the person I'm HIV positive, the person don't know. And then when you say, well, no, not this condom. That's a different issue. But if you know the status, and then you don't disclose that status to somebody, and then you don't get anything that unprotected septic, and you go again sector, that is considered as willful infection. And then I say, according to the HIV Act of 2011, it's a criminal offense, and for which, you go to jail or fine or jail.
Yeah, I know. Say one of the things right now, because when I go to Sierra Leone, I dey see some of we young picking them we supposed for day and net for study most of the time, and then a street for going prostitute. Waiting now when I own program for them people then the way they go around they go do prostitution, because now one of the sources of contacting this disease.
Yes, thank you very much, engineer. Now, let's move. Now, one of the, risky areas for HIV/AIDS transmission. Indeed, we get commercial sex workers. We don't do what we call child estimation studies. We don't do prevalence of HIV among commercial sex workers. The prevalence among them is high, is higher, 2-3 times more than the national prevalence of 1.5. And then they are discontinuous. So we don't know the size, we don't know the number. You see. So because of that, we get another set of people there. We class some people here as key population. Because of the state, because of the way they engage in, the risk for HIV transmission is very high. So what we don't do, we also get a program for key population. So we get a program where we cover not only commercial sex workers, but even people there, so men are men, people really inject drugs. We don't get programs for that currently, and we get organizations in Australia where they work with some people that they make, for example, the commercial sex workers, we get about 4 organizations where they work with them for create awareness, for test them, for also provide treatment to them, and then we even get what we call CID treatment for the people there, and link them to treatment. So we not just test them and make them, but we test them and then also link them to treatment. So currently, yes, we get a program for people population, as I say, the commercial sex workers are just one group, and plus the other groups where I don't refer to.
All right, we got a few people there waiting on the line. We want to ask you a question. Let's start with Mr. Kabo. Mr. Kabo, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. I'm most welcome to this program. This is Kabo from yeah. I see, I understand the analysis where you don't, and the breakdown where you don't make it regards to the HIV infection, actually, and how best don't decide for combat that situation. But the figures, which is the representative figures, which is measured, for instance, the percentage, the 5.1% prevalence.
1.5%, 1.5%.
Yeah, prevalence, I understand that. And you said it's a combination probably of malaria and other diseases, correct?
No. HIV, what I think trying to explain is that the demographic and health survey, this population-based survey, the survey where it includes malaria, it includes nutrition, it includes HIV, it includes a lot of other things. And
correct.
Specifically for HIV, from the 2013 demographic and health survey, the prevalence is 1.5%.
Right. Now, I got that clear now. Then 1.5% prevalence. Now, how can you establish that to real figure, or number of people affected with HIV? Can you give us a brief synopsis of how that is happening, or a figure itself?
Yes, if you calculate 1.5% of, for example, the population now, you understand? Right. That will give you something like 10,000 something. I think 10,700.
Correct. So this about 10,000 people affected as measured. But this now, this is up to 2013, correct?
Yes, no, come back again. If you go back to 2013, waiting at the population for 2013, that one is also, it was 1.5% of that 2013 population. And that's how the people calculate. That will bring you the real figure, If the population at that time was something around 6 million, so 1.5% of that prevents.
Right, I got you. So now that it's about 7 or 6.5 million, the percentage will be different, and besides it's coming very soon, you said this year, correct?
Yeah, well, we never say the percentage will be different. You know, when you pretend that one is until we do another study. When we do the study in 2018, you know, it might be that the percentage will come down. So we never can tell as it is now until we do the study before ever we will know whether less than 1.5% or above 1.5% or it will remain stagnant at 1.5%.
All right. Thank you very much.
Right. Now, let me just get a clearance of one thing, Mr. With regards to the testing of HIV/AIDS, is there any regulation or any law in Sierra Leone that allows anybody away from the hospital, as long as you go do a physical or whatever thing you do that has to do with blood work? Is it that you guys are allowed to also test for HIV without the consent of the individual, or it has to be consented?
Thank you very much. The law refers to the HIV and AIDS Commission Act of 2011. And until you get a repeal or you get a revision of that act, then we still the work by. That is the law. Now, counseling, testing for HIV in this country by that 2011 act is voluntary. You never test somebody by force. No, for HIV is by consent. If we for take the HIV test, if you not give, you let it portal for do HIV test. Now, what we will also try to do, you know, as a program. Now, because it is voluntary counseling and testing, you find out that what people left, not just one for camp, voluntarily for contest. So there's also another initiative, another strategy, what we call provider initiated counseling and testing. So that when you come to the health facility, instead of wait for you voluntarily to come, now we will approach you. The health worker will tell you, say, this test is available. It is good that you test, you know, we talk to you. You know, so we really wait for you voluntarily. If you don't. Now we get there, you know, as healthcare workers, we say, for let's watch them come. Some people are like, you know, they don't even hear you say. So we need to become a little bit proactive. For approach, like we say, provider initiated. So if you the provider of the service, you initiate the process, you initiate the testing that, okay, now this test is available in this facility. It's good to do it. And then the program comes and all that. And then that will motivate people to come and be tested. So now, like that's cutting it out of the use. Even like the we refer and main refer hospital, like come hospital like that, if you go now hospital, we get that certificate now they employ. So still coming back to your question, testing is voluntary. You will never force it by consent. You never force anybody to do HIV test. And until that law is repealed, we don't now see the 9 days.
All right, thank you very much. Let me go to I think na Eddie Bangura na Ohio. Hello, Eddie.
Yes, sir.
You got a question for Dr. Cisse?
Yes, sir. Mr. Michael, sir, thank you very much for putting in a very good show, where at least we're able to get the opportunity for me with the leaders, especially with this very scary epidemic where we go on the media. Dr. Cisse, thank you very much for being with us. And we at least we make we mind at least relieve a little bit. You know, we already begin to go 61%, 1.5 million. It was too much. But anyway, the question I get is, in concerning with this training, with this testing, the people that already do the testing, professionals, they are accompanying with other set of people we train from outside the country, or not just Sierra Leoneans they normally do. And then two, how can they do for get rid of the infected needles? From let's just say
people know the professionals in Sierra Leone, when they do the testing, they don't use one needle to the other. And then the last question, the demographic. We are able for calculate the demographic of whoever we for this 10,000 for no waiting McKinney guests and waiting more guests around just the country and waiting Freetown guests. We are able to get our statistics.
All right, thank you.
Yes, okay, yes. Okay. Now we come to, okay, let's start the first one. Who does the training and whether we get people in Tobago with support. Now, basically, all research facilities and 701 or a little bit above, contractors close to 700 facilities there, outside the research here. All research here now, research workers then are doing the research here. The Sierra Leoneans then are the research. When you get partners the way they work with we, where there's support for export training, for monitor, quality assurance, implementing the ethics and implementing. That way for develop some of the tools here, but as Sierra Leoneans here, and then with the care, now then they carry out the testing. Majority of them are not here, and then they carry out the testing at the various facilities here. Now, we talk about the legal care. We never use legal care for this testing, for this test. Now, if you go at the health facility, we get the intestinal rapid diagnostic test here now we do. The three types of tests here we think we do, and then what's now rapid diagnostic test we do. All they do, they put the finger, just the lancet, put the finger, and then put the small drop of blood, and the rapid diagnostic test and get them. And then after that, they have them still and the way they use for put the finger and so. Now, all witnesses, yes, we get the disposal system, where they get the disposal basket, where in the system. So, whenever they need to use it, for take blood, for drop more to the blood, for movie test. No, it's not modern. The technology, we don't line with modern technology. You see, then we talked about the demographics. Whether we know the waiting time by district. Yes, I can tell you. Yes. We get the demographics by district. Even as the National Health Control Program, the assessment, with all the district related facilities. And every quarter, we put together all the data from district. And in fact, that data is captured with the district health information system, the DHIS, where the Ministry of Health gets a whole system where they capture, HIV data, that is central and even at the district level. So, yes, the data is aggregated by text, and it's aggregated by district. That information is available.
All right. Well, Mr. Dr. Sise, thank you very much for coming to the program. We appreciate that very much. This you don't can relieve a lot of stress way at the diaspora, because the information hoping they go around was 1.5 million people the way they not infected with AIDS. Well, some of we look at that and say, well, the next 5 years everybody will be infected with AIDS if that was the case.
That's not true. That's not true at all. We said don't go to radio now, we don't just explain to people there, but I don't know whether people don't understand the figures here, or maybe the level of literacy I just want to grow, but the basic fact is, after they say anything, this is not science, this is not medicine, anything you say, anything you do, it's based on evidence. And until we get the evidence available to us, I think what we get now we have to talk about. When we get the new evidence, we were able to tell the whole country. When we did the new study in 2018, after I said we were able to know the new prevalence by district, according to check all the one in the state, we were able to know back and do another breakdown of the HIV status. It is and the slavery and all that, countries use of condom, all that will all get them to from the slave for you.
We appreciate that very much for kind of the program for kind of explain, and that's this not something where they go around now on social media for make sure say we try for dispel them false rumor then they like what he talks to no more it could be both illiteracy and sometimes even deception because there are people now the social media will just try for deceive people them you know when they see 1.5 then say well 1.5 million so all them deceive yeah, so that's I think like the problem now. So I thank you very much, sir, for kind of the program.
Mr. Makota, you don't mind make I just follow up a quick question, sir?
All right, go ahead, quickly.
Okay, again, this is the Bangua. Mr. Director, there is a way this because even at the end world, at least it's not the health department, the condoms are available. Even like people and we get them problems and they, you know, or the one that people don't get just for protection. There is a way where the government will subsidize and like people when they go to the health department, we speak or wherever the young one or anybody from now on provide condoms just for protection. Yes, thank you very much. With the condom program here, there are two ways where two things that we will do. You get free distribution of condoms. You get also social marketing of condoms. Okay, now, yes. So, you know, when you social marketing, this not selling the same condoms. So we get a program where not selling the same condoms. You know, so Commander, everywhere they do them free, they're not in value and the thing. But if you see somebody go buy condoms, definitely they will use that. You know, that's what they believe that because no free money, you go buy condoms, you can't throw it. Then, so that's now one level. Then we also get free distribution of condoms. Now, we send for 20 Sierra I think for now, the government and then the donor partners there, we get them, even with prescription and condoms, we will get them for free. And so, costless, so now for free, where we do them currently, as I talk to you, so now, we get thousands of condoms. You know, waiting now. So, apart from the health facility where we get condoms, we also will get outlets and ways you want condoms to go for buyer. You can buy. So, condoms is not here. Condoms are available.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Right.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, to you.
Bye. All right. That was Dr. Mamadou Sise, winner at the national program director for HIV/AIDS. He's been talked away from Freetown, but as we all know, the new breaking news here is the fact that they don't come out and can dispel some of the false information where they go around social media saying now 1.5 million people that are infected with AIDS. It's not true. It's around 1.5%. 1.5% of the population since 2013. Now in that one day, I believe say what can happen. When they just put 1.5, some people they mistaken for be 1.5 million. You know, so I think I did the mistake can they, but the reason this way, the TPN TV at least then they do a great job for help some of them rumor for dispel there because recently I feel very concerned and I pull out an audio and say if that is the case then that's the government need for take proactive measures for make sure say then protect the people them, you know. But thank God, yes, 1.5% it's too high, but at least it's better than 22%. You know, it's better than 22%. So this now the thing when they watch we and when they listen the radio. So the breaking news here is the HIV/AIDS in Sierra Leone is still stands at 1.5% of the population. And like within Dr. Sise then gets the statistics on demography. Almost percentage way they na McKinney, Maboroka, the other places then because they get about 700 plus centers them where actually they do them the testing and the promotions and the sensitizations as on a where it talk na free tone. These are some of the things then. Now let me ask you, Mr. Kagbo, what are your take on this?
Well, it's good, just like you mentioned, that this gentleman came up and put this analysis clear. You see, there are a lot of misapplications. Even when they try for analyze them, we only mentioned 1.5, but I mean, because we are very keen on working at 1.5 means for its applicants to the population. And he came up, we don't ask him exactly that, it's 1.5 million, I just say, looking at the application of that 1.5%. And it's therefore based on the population at the time. And it's that so you say about 10,000. So now, we expect now that we have 7 million people in Sierra Leone, and the next testing, as you said, after every 5 years, I only pray that the population, the rate nobody doubles. And so when we get the results, we multiply them by 7 million, and definitely we'll get the results. But I'm not sure it's going to be more than what was going around in the city, and it's far less than that. But that alone is not an excuse, and we need to have to keep the discussions together and making sure that this not a grow exponentially. The growth rate is reduced, and treatments are, affordable, and people should come out. And also, I would like, if possible, with legislation or the government itself, with the rules and regulations that the Ministry of Health, if they have to have an open, because I think the United States now is open. When you go to the hospital, they will tell you that you're going to do the HIV test. When you go to physical or any medical you go for, because it's very, very important. I think either HIV or one of these two, I know, HIV or diabetes. I think that is compulsory in America. Yeah, I think one of them is compulsory. So once you do blood work, then they go to automatically and they test you on that. They don't need to ask you to say this, you have to do this, but they will explain to you that it will automatically come out. So I hope the country, as they grow, with regard to health and otherwise, with the present government, we hope they will do this kind of situation where it will bring a cure and at least a control over this HIV. Just like the gentleman mentioned, then we some of the brothers and sisters in Salon, I mean, with regards to this condom, it's just something they just have to use. The only way is to avoid to be HIV or HIV AIDS free. You just have to avoid. But if you can avoid, just do the precautions, the simple precautions for your life and the life of your family.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Is this not a relief for we? Eddie Bangura, what's in your take?
Yes, sir. I really personally want to thank you, and may God continue to give the wisdom and the strength to do what you do. Because not only the program now will be able to get the correct facts than the lie misleading information by the media. So God bless you, and I thank you personally for that. But bringing the man inside for the fact that he can do with the reality as a government worker, I think we thank him for that. So and that is just a goal really for we, for the fact that Sierra Leoneans will get forget that concern there. And some of we, the way how we think now, we want for travel day, all anything a day. So that day the reality, you don't put a bonus concession, so we know matter. So
Yeah.
So now it's something like that. So but I really even though 10,000 is plenty, but we work on that. They will just pray. They don't work hard, and the people themselves are adhere to the protocol for use condom, so that you will prevent the disease further spreading. That's the most important thing. You see? Because maybe 2018 or come, they can be the sensors or testing, they can come out back to it don't go up, that's what you get to. Now that's no more the free to God may not happen. And based on the wildlife right now they happen in the country, with the young girls
when they talk about Nisom or all that crap here, where they go with the young folks to do for money.
Yep.
I don't know, Passport very cool, but I don't think the number will come down. I think it will must go up. But not clear, my number will get a push. The only thing more, I don't know if the director is there for, if it is there for answer me directly, I don't for answer, but I decide for the whether I answer for the demographic, the statistics. I mean, here you want for answer, who's in at the most, where affected.
No, you know, go answer you that one at all because.
Yes, I believe there's a lot for answer here. So you see, that makes I just reserve that side. But whichever things you are doing, you know, get the kind of relief. Which, I mean, from 1.5 million to also with 60,000 away from the same to 10,000. At least whichever things you get it clarity. At least whichever will help for educate other people and we see the information here.
Right.
So thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, definitely, because this is very important. You know, WhatsApp don't turn like Wikipedia. Wikipedia, anybody can go and go put anything where you want for put. So now that make even academically, they know they accept if you reference Wikipedia source because it's not reliable. So WhatsApp and so it don't be. So medias then like the TPN. So that make would they go the extra mile for make sure say we get the people that way responsible for can't tell we what them think and we will be able to disseminate this the message here. This particular program probably will get for put them social media people let them listen, let them watch and for say it was all a lie 1.5 million is just too much, you know.
Yeah.
But okay, let me go back to politics because before we get scam, I've been to talk about you know, human rights abuses now one of the most what they call debates now social media say well the SLPP about 3 months they don't begin do so much human rights abuses, you know. Let me go to Mr. Kabo. Mr. Kabo, what do you think of the human rights abuses in Sierra Leone from 1996 up to this time?
Well, that's a very serious issue. And when you talk about human abuse, that's really you got to be very really specific because there are certain things which you know our people then in Sierra Leone, when I say democracy, they use those words, they use the word majority, they use the word human rights. There are people who they misinterpret them. Right? For instance, just like when they say the cleaning of the city and the president will make sure to give an agenda at the end of every, the first Saturday of the month or whatever it is, and that the cleaning should be done by everybody from morning to 12 o'clock. People that don't team up to, then that's not a human right, it's not a democracy, and they are forcing them to do things they shouldn't be doing. But health is a human rights issue, and that's democracy. If you speak one, and even in your environment, somebody has to come and tell you for making cleaner, and then, but when malaria comes, typhoid fever comes, or other things, or more blood comes, or they suffer. I don't know how much you interpret democracy in that sense or human rights. So a lot of people, especially nowadays when governments are opposing one another, they only bring the truth to the people, but they use the surface words, the surface meanings of the words on the tap. They don't dig into the depth of what actually this means. They just give them like majority carries the vote, that is what they do. They don't care whether majority are corrupt or whatever. They just say majority carries the vote, and it becomes a pattern for them, and that's all they need. So we have to make sure we educate the people that we teach words and they understand them and interpret them. Like freedom of speech, I had a lot of people talking about freedom of speech also. Freedom of speech, yes, there's a freedom of speech, but you are responsible for your words. Doesn't mean that you cannot say them. You can say anything you want to say about somebody, but they might call you if those words or those things that you are saying not still a way to create a commotion where they do like instigation or causing some mayhem in the country, or maybe trying to send a cold word to the public. And those kind of things, they will call you. And it depends on how you answer them, but they will call you to custom. And so it doesn't mean that you cannot say anything. You can say anything you want, but you are responsible for your words. And the government or the police or the law officers going to look at those statements and analyze them. If they deem it necessary, they will invite you for questioning, for further clarification, and they're going to tell you what they have to tell you. So that doesn't mean that it infringes into your freedom of speech. Just like I mentioned, people think freedom, they talk freely. Yes, you can talk freely, but you're responsible for what you talk.
So it's just like the saying, your freedom of speech is guaranteed, but the consequence of your speech is not guaranteed.
It's not exactly. It's not guaranteed. So this is what you should understand. That you can talk from A to B because you get them out. Nobody knows your house, nobody bother you. But if something the way the law enforcement feel that it has a problem, they will call you. That don't mean they think on your freedom of speech. But this is what our people don't understand. Because the opposition said that they hide behind this word, and I've been saying this over and over. Some of these words, they hide behind them. And they don't tell the people exactly what the implications are. And because of that, and the majority of the people in Sierra Leone are uneducated, and some are that-hearted party members. So whatever their party leaders say, they just take it and they go. Before you know, they disappear 15 years. And all these political parties are hiding on these words. They use them because they want to deprive Sierra Leone. They use them for corruption. They use them for human rights abuse. They use them for all other things. So we must be very careful. That's how I look at these things. Right? So I hope that alone could help them. But they have to dig into these words and let them just accept them and use them or implement them as they want. But they are subject to questioning when the law deems it necessary.
Now we go to Eddie. Eddie, what thing are you want to take?
Let me say, Mr. Tambo or Mr. Kamara, I mean, he just don't summarize a lot of things where people are born in the country. And in terms of that human rights and freedom of speech. To me, I will add to that. But one of the main causes we get in Sierra Leone is we get a high rate of illiteracy with people there, especially where they not study how government is run. And the fact that when you do APC, you do SSPC or whatever party will involved, Sierra Leone, the issue here is we don't love this person where is the leader. We don't love her. So regardless whether person is break the constitution, protocol, you don't care. You support her, and when the government go after her, you say, oh, na human abuse, na freedom of speech. And in fact, the way we don't come away, we don't come far away. Where this privilege audience here. When we go back to the 50s and 60s and the 70s and the 80s, no, just start from today. We know, say, let me say, we begin the first. If you protest a street, one particular thing and the other who will be on that accident, not to police money and tear gas, it will scatter now. That's some more time. So now we country don't come out from the inside and we don't try for build up, speed up and democracy. Now the country, we still people, will try for misunderstand the freedom of speech and also for incite violence. And one of the things we're in troublesome in the country, where people don't try to understand. If you don't have the constitution, but you say freedom of speech, but at the same time, if you don't incite something we could bring unrest in the country, then you are liable to that. And I feel say, perfect example now, the Mohammed Kamarambi, where he say, we don't call him for questioning, but also he only can call for questioning. If they call him for questioning, you try for do something, Radio 98 or wherever, AYG or wherever which is saying, if one day waiting at the law enforcement, they keep in protocol, now then those people call you for questioning. Like how we get to man, you don't see. You go there, you go clarify with you decide to say, simple like that. But it just can't be today that whoever on a leader, a prominent person, when they call up for questioning, people will make a protest. When a normal in a democratic setting, not a problem. But I just hope we will get more education in the country in a way that people will understand waiting for say and waiting not for say. We will actually bring a problem. But
let's say the government right now, a lot of people when probably waiting at the opposition side, we not pure equity, but we now naturally say, well, because working in the country now to force
Yep.
Sierra Leoneans. Because when the passport they say Sierra Leone, they don't say APC.
Yep.
So if the APC person not do well, in order to do well, we represent the interest of the country, and they like to oppose you. So you know, me say because I mean a vote leaker, or me I just die hard APC just the support because I want for support. No, I will not do that. See, I die and I start with the name. You see? So now, but just it's too early. Not for those who criticize the SLPP government just for 3 months in power. When you compare the 20 years and the 10 years of Kaba, you compare the 10 years of CPC when I under and Kuma, you can look all the day of human beings. But at the same time, we don't try to elaborate it all and you see, because waiting you, yes, the past is always good, but at the same time, everything that you're using waiting that will happen. Like when Mr. Makota, when you say earlier, on a Kaba in time, let me say, if you can power, they overthrow you within 1 year. You know we expect for the vigilant, this time they may not happen again, and the one day when the perpetrators, they will make what you do that. Whoever will connect again, you know, if anybody, where if you will, if you put yourself in a Kaba in position, you know, we'll try to bring them to justice if possible. Why? What's problem that that's Kaba to do? But one thing we are supposed to do is to forgive Kaba in government. Recognition of Kaba 9 sets the tone for freedom of speech and people and for say anything you want for say. Even that Emerson in something, Bobo Bele, this and that, all that and this. Now, Kaba say on a left and a freedom of speech. So that's not clear and credit. It starts from him. But we don't time for APC, as Emerson or whatever brings in where APC when I have against the government. Yesterday, better part today, they begin to optimize the whole entity, which is not good in a democratic setting. People in the media get right for hear things and say what you have for criticize the government. But the only thing when you criticize with facts. You see, there is a way when the whole individual, even in America, there is a personal responsibility, and therefore there is a responsibility when you cite problem on social media. Where the only responsibility where it is against the law. Like the media, they all get in this country, the social network, people network. If any uncle or wherever will say something, we're not credible. Right there, that's the end of the uncleship. Now, lie. Now, the same thing applies to people in Africa. You can just go beside them and go put something and say that. Well, you know, they're not credible facts. You just want to oppose for bring unrest in the country. They're all reliable. So, no exception to that. So, you see, so to me, at least, yes, let me say, the matter of your kind of power, let me say, not now, SLPP, let me grab a condom, what you going currently. But let me say, some things and the way you say, you know, this power. Where now really for the interest of the country, exactly the way the world is related example. Free education, where the man sees. But you as a Sierra Leonean say, no, ready for that. One longer future we see our free university, Kabas, Kenya, and Kenya, then we say abandon the clinic exercise. When eventually all the reports cause malaria and other children of the country. So see they cause sickness. One day with man and do first of all, before then with man do with man country without they to see. Now criminals they first adopt. But I'm not going to sleep because I know they see them rubbish and this. Because now they rubbish they bring them they fly, mosquito, all and this. You see, so if this man comes, you say, well, every first week we put a training exercise. Now two ways you say for go debate in parliament. Now you also we're going to be there as president. Already Obama did as president. For the interest of the country, for maybe abolish Taliban or wherever way it is, where they want for monitor the people who declare the country, for maybe protect the country. Let me say, even though when people in claim say no, now bridge of freedom of speech, policy and or privacy, but the executive government still go on for monitor what they talk. You see, because so that not only way they will focus radicals. So there are times we just for going with freedom sometimes. For the interest of real life, what is the government is for protect. Likewise, the welfare of the family.
Okay.
So the same people they criticize on the hand.
Let me say, let us continue for right and continue for entire with them for make sure the government is no longer accountable for making do the right thing. Now that's what your position.
Thank you very much for that, and I just want to thank Dr. Sise for come out and can tell we waiting at the right thing about this HIV/AIDS brouhaha where they go on social media where intimidate people like we so say well something is not right, something is bad is coming. So since we don't kind of we're able to disseminate that message there to individual forums there who would therefore say hey. Contrary on which one the area about 1.5 or 1 point whatever, the total amount of percentage na salon na 1.5. So that's not the thing. But coming to, like I said earlier in my broadcast about the human rights abuses, all the three, well, mostly the two previous governments commit some sort of human rights abuses. Okay, now the level no more, now the comparison, now we they compare, but we not get no saints, that's alone for human rights abuse. Saints not there. In fact, in Africa, we not get saints when a politician. You know, so yes, those are things that are coming, and the last thing I want to discuss a little bit is about with former president when Dr. Anes Baikoroma. Quite recently, within the APC forums, I asked a question, say, okay, the last time when the PRO came this media, it always say, well, the president they around the tour West Africa after he don't come out, so but he come back. But it's almost about a month now. Some people then say he's still in Guinea. Some people then say, you know, they come back because he concerned about this commission of inquiry for making them not can arrest and intimidate him. Some people then say he sick a little bit and he been in Germany, he take treatment. So we don't know what is going on with the ex-president. These are some of the things we probably next week we will try to find out from the PRO or anybody in the APC. We will also want to talk about this commission of inquiry. We're supposed to start this coming month, that is August. So we will try for bring some SLPP folks them for Cantel way. I will try for get hold of either the foreign minister. I don't try for getting number. I know you get in number it. I think say that they try for protect them from me. They try for protect them from me, but now an information minister for we, sorry, not a foreign minister, information minister. You know, now information minister for everybody. You need for talk to we. You know, then I know able get a number. You talked it this time. I don't try so many times. I don't even try for reach out to Lawrence Lima where na in been the PRO where been the kind of this program, but you know, agree for give me the number. So I am still finding a way for get this guy in number for make I able to talk to Ramre and come for let we talk a little bit about what they go on and about the SLPP government and what they plan for do for the next 1 year or 5 years. So I thank you very much. We'll see you back the same time, the same place.